We didn't think much of it at first. Cheap houses exist for a reason, sure, but sometimes people just get lucky. That's what I told my wife, Aisha, as we stood in front of the place for the first time. The paint was peeling, the garden was overgrown, and the windows looked like they hadn't been cleaned in years. Still, it was big. Bigger than anything we could afford in the city. Too cheap, she whispered. Or a miracle, I replied, forcing a smile. Our daughter, Hira, ran past us, giggling as she pushed open the creaky front gate. Can I have the room upstairs? She shouted without even seeing it yet. We exchanged a look. Kids don't notice things like adults do. They don't see the cracks, the strange silence, the feeling that something is off. The agent didn't stay long. That should have been our first warning. He rushed through the paperwork, avoided eye contact, and left before sunset. I remember calling after him, asking about the previous owners. Just moved away, he said quickly. Good luck. Good luck. That night was quiet. Too quiet. No traffic sounds, no neighbors talking, no dogs barking. Just a heavy silence pressing against the walls. We unpacked what we could, ate takeaway on the floor, and tried to laugh about how empty the house felt. At around 2:13 a.m., I woke up. I didn't know why at first. My eyes just opened suddenly, like someone had called my name. The room was dark, but something felt wrong. I held my breath and listened. Footsteps. Soft. Slow. Walking across the hallway. I sat up immediately. Aisha was asleep beside me, her breathing steady. I nudged her gently. Did you hear that? I whispered. She stirred. What? The footsteps stopped. We waited. Nothing. Probably the house settling, she mumbled, turning over. I wanted to believe that. Old houses make noises. Everyone says that. But deep down, I knew what I heard. The next day felt normal. Sunlight changed everything. The house looked less threatening, just old and neglected. Hira was excited, running from room to room, claiming spaces for her toys. I made a friend, she said casually at lunch. Aisha looked up. What? Upstairs? Hira replied, smiling. She was laughing. I felt a chill run through me. What's her name? I asked carefully. Hira shrugged. She didn't tell me. She just laughs. Aisha forced a laugh. Imaginary friend. That's normal. But I noticed something. Hira wasn't pretending. She wasn't playing. She said it like it was a simple fact. That night, the footsteps came again. This time, louder. Not just in the hallway, right outside our bedroom door. I got up slowly, my heart pounding. Every instinct told me not to open that door. But I did. The hallway was empty. Or at least, it looked empty. The air felt colder, heavier, and there was a faint smell, like something damp and rotten. I checked Hira's room. She was asleep, clutching her toy, her face peaceful. As I turned to leave, I heard it. A giggle, soft, childlike, right behind me. I spun around. No one. My hands were shaking as I closed her door and went back to bed. I didn't sleep after that. Things escalated quickly after that night. Doors would open on their own. At first, just slightly. Then wider. One afternoon, Aisha screamed from the kitchen. I ran in to find every cabinet door wide open. I didn't touch them, she said, her voice trembling. Maybe they're loose, I replied, even though I knew how ridiculous that sounded. That same evening, Hira sat in the corner of the living room, talking to someone. Stop, she said softly. He doesn't like that. Who? I asked. She looked at me like I should already know. The man, she whispered. Aisha grabbed my arm. What man? Hira pointed toward the staircase. He watches at night. That was the first time I truly felt fear settle into my bones. We started keeping lights on at night. Every single one. It didn't help. At exactly 2:13 a.m., every night, the same thing would happen. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. Walking from the top floor, down the stairs, stopping outside our door. And then silence. Until one night, it didn't stop. The doorknob turned. Slowly. I stared at it, frozen. It twisted. Once, twice, and then the door creaked open. Just a few inches. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The darkness beyond the door felt alive. And then, a whisper. Leave. I jumped out of bed, slamming the door shut and locking it. Aisha was crying now, holding Hira close. We need to go, she said. We need to leave this place. But it wasn't that simple. We had spent everything to move here. There was nowhere else to go. So I did what anyone would do. I started asking questions. The neighbors were reluctant at first. Most of them avoided me. But eventually, An old man who lived 2 houses down agreed to talk. You shouldn't have moved there, he said immediately. Why? I asked. He hesitated, then sighed. That house, it's not empty. I felt my throat go dry. What happened there? He looked around, as if afraid someone might be listening. Years ago, a family lived there. Husband, wife, and a little girl. My heart started racing. One night, something happened. No one knows exactly what. But the police found them, all dead. How? I whispered. The old man's eyes darkened. Brutal. The parents were torn apart. And the little girl, he stopped. What about her? I pushed. They found her in the closet, he said quietly. Still smiling. I felt sick. After that, no one stayed there long. People hear things, see things. Some leave within days. Some don't make it out. I didn't want to hear any more. But it was already too late. That night, everything changed. The power went out at exactly 2:13 a.m. The house plunged into darkness. And then, footsteps. Faster this time, running. From upstairs, down the stairs, straight toward our room. The door slammed open violently. Hira screamed. And in the darkness, I saw them. A small figure standing in the corner. And behind her, a tall, shadowy shape. Watching. Smiling. The little girl tilted her head and giggled. You stayed, she said. The shadow behind her moved closer. And for the first time, I understood. The house wasn't haunted. It was hungry. And we had just become its next victims. I don't know how long we stayed frozen like that. It could have been seconds. It felt like hours. Hira was screaming, clinging to Aisha, while I stood there, staring into the darkness, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. The little girl, she looked normal at first glance. Pale, thin, her hair hanging messily over her face. But her smile, it was too wide. Too still. Like it didn't belong on a human face. And the thing behind her, it wasn't fully visible. It didn't have a clear shape. Just a tall, shifting darkness, like smoke trying to form a body. But I could feel it looking at me. Not just watching, studying, judging. Then it moved. Not walking, gliding, closer. The temperature in the room dropped so suddenly that my breath turned visible. Aisha let out a sob, burying her face in Hira's hair. Please, she whispered. Please leave us alone. The little girl giggled again. He doesn't like when you beg, she said softly. Her voice echoed in a way that didn't make sense, like it was coming from every corner of the room at once. I finally found my voice. What do you want? The shadow stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the girl answered. You. The word hit me like a punch to the chest. No, I said immediately, stepping in front of my family. Take me, just leave them alone. Aisha grabbed my arm. What are you doing? But I couldn't take my eyes off the shadow. It tilted, like a head cocking to one side. Considering. Then the girl frowned slightly. He doesn't make deals, she said. The shadow stretched, its edges flickering unnaturally. I felt pressure in my skull, like something was pushing into my thoughts. Images flashed in my mind. Blood on the walls, screams, a man begging, a woman crying, a child laughing, then darkness. I collapsed to my knees, gasping. Stop, I shouted, clutching my head. The girl took a step closer. You can see it now, she whispered. Good. Aisha was crying harder now. What is happening to him? But I barely heard her. Because I wasn't in the room anymore. I was somewhere else. Or, sometime else. I was standing in the same house, but it looked different. Cleaner. Brighter. Alive. And I wasn't alone. A man stood in front of me. His face was pale, terrified. Behind him, a woman held a little girl close. The same little girl. But this time, she wasn't smiling. She was scared. Please, the man said, his voice shaking. We can leave. We won't tell anyone. I turned, and saw it. The shadow. Clearer now. Taller than any human. Its form constantly shifting, like it couldn't stay solid. And where its face should have been, there was nothing. Just emptiness. It moved toward the family. The man tried to fight back. It didn't matter. He was thrown across the room like he weighed nothing. The woman screamed, trying to shield her daughter. The shadow reached them, and then, I couldn't look away. I watched as it tore them apart. Not quickly, not mercifully, slowly, deliberately, like it was enjoying every second. The girl's screams turned into laughter halfway through. That was the worst part. The laughter. It echoed in my head, louder and louder until I snapped back into the present. I was on the floor, drenched in sweat, my heart racing. The little girl was right in front of me now. Closer than ever. You saw, she said, smiling again. I scrambled backward. What are you? Her expression didn't change. I was like her, she said, pointing at Hira. At first. My blood ran cold. At first. I repeated. She nodded slowly. He played with me, she continued. He showed me things. He made me laugh. Her smile widened even more. Then I didn't want to leave. The shadow loomed behind her, pulsing, growing darker. Aisha shook her head frantically. No, 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 Hira buried her face in her mother's chest, sobbing. I forced myself to stand, even though my legs felt like they might give out. You're not taking my daughter, I said, my voice shaking but firm. The girl tilted her head again. He already chose, she replied. My stomach dropped. Chosen, I whispered. She slowly turned her head, and pointed directly at Hira. The room seemed to spin. No, Aisha cried, clutching her tighter. No, you can't have her. The shadow moved again, faster this time. It stretched across the room in an instant, its presence crushing the air out of my lungs. I tried to move, to do something, anything, but I couldn't. It was like my body wasn't mine anymore. Hira suddenly went still, completely still. Her crying stopped. Aisha, I said, panic rising. She looked down at Hira, and screamed. Hira lifted her head slowly. Her face, her expression, it wasn't hers. She was smiling. The same wide, unnatural smile. No, I whispered. Hira, Aisha sobbed. Baby, please, Hira turned her head toward me. And giggled. The exact same giggle I had heard the first night. He's here, she said softly. The shadow wrapped around her like smoke, sinking into her body. I lunged forward, grabbing her shoulders. Fight it, I shouted. Hira, fight it. For a split second, her expression changed. Her eyes filled with tears. Abu, she whispered. Hope exploded in my chest. Yes, I'm here. Stay with me. But then, her smile came back. Stronger. Wider. Too wide. You're too late, she said. And then everything went black. When I woke up, it was morning. Sunlight filled the room. Birds were chirping outside. It felt normal. Too normal. Aisha was sitting in the corner, silent, staring at nothing. Hira, I asked immediately, my voice cracking. No response. I stood up quickly, my body aching. Hira. Then I saw her, standing in the doorway, perfectly still, watching me. Relief washed over me for a brief second. You're okay, she smiled. And that relief shattered instantly. Because it wasn't her smile. It never was. Good morning, she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. Behind her, for just a moment, I saw the shadow. Still there, still watching, still waiting, and in that moment, I understood something even worse than before. It didn't just want to kill us. It wanted to stay. And now, it had a way to do it. I didn't move. I couldn't. Every instinct in my body was screaming at me to run, to grab Aisha and get out of that house immediately, but my legs refused to cooperate. I just stood there, staring at Hira, or whatever was standing in her place. Say something, Aisha whispered from the corner, her voice hollow, broken. I forced myself to step forward. Hira, I said carefully, my throat dry. Come here. She didn't move. She just stood in the doorway, smiling, watching. Don't, Aisha suddenly said, her voice sharp with fear. That's not her. I knew that. God, I knew that. But what was I supposed to do? That was still my daughter's body. Her face. Her voice. Hira, I tried again, softer this time. It's me, Abu. For a moment, just a moment, her eyes flickered. That same flicker I had seen the night before. Hope. Tiny, fragile, but real. Then she blinked. And it was gone. You should have left, she said. Her voice layered, like two voices speaking at once. One was hers. The other wasn't. A cold wave of dread washed over me. What do you want? I asked again, trying to keep my voice steady. Her head tilted slowly, almost curiously. Why do you keep asking that? She said. You already know. And I did. It wanted to stay. Not just in the house. In her. Aisha slowly stood up, her entire body trembling. Give her back, she said, tears streaming down her face. Please, take anything else, just give her back. Hira's smile widened. He doesn't give back, she replied. The air in the room shifted again. That same heavy pressure. That same suffocating presence. I clenched my fists. No, I said firmly. This ends now. Aisha looked at me like I had lost my mind. What are you going to do? She asked. I didn't answer. Because I didn't fully know. But I knew one thing, we couldn't stay. Get your things, I said quickly. We're leaving. Right now. Aisha hesitated. And her. I looked at Hira. She was still standing there, still smiling. Watching. Waiting. We're taking her with us, I said. Whatever that thing is, it's not keeping our daughter. For the first time, her smile faltered. Just slightly. Interesting. You can't leave, she said. I took that as confirmation. Yes, we can. I grabbed Aisha's hand and moved toward the door. As I passed Hira, I reached for her arm. The moment I touched her, something slammed into me. Not physically, mentally. Like my mind had just hit a wall. Images flooded in again, the house. The murders. The shadow. But this time, something else, other families. Different faces. Different screams. All ending the same way. No one leaves. I staggered but didn't let go. Move. I shouted at Aisha. We pushed forward. Step by step. Every inch felt like walking through thick mud. Like the house itself was trying to hold us back. The front door was right there. So close. Then, it slammed shut. Hard. Aisha screamed. Hira laughed. You don't understand, she said, her voice echoing unnaturally. You're already inside. The locks twisted on their own. One by one. Click. 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 I rushed to the door, pulling at it with all my strength. It didn't budge. Open. I shouted, slamming my shoulder against it. Nothing. The temperature dropped again. I turned slowly. Hira was no longer in the doorway. She was behind us, standing in the middle of the room. The shadow now fully visible around her, like it was merging with her completely. Her eyes, they were darker now. Almost black. Aisha grabbed my arm, digging her nails into my skin. What do we do? I didn't answer. Because for the first time, I felt it too. Not just fear. Something else. Something inside my head. Whispers. Soft at first. Barely noticeable. You can stay. I froze. It doesn't hurt if you stop fighting. I shook my head, trying to block it out. No, I muttered. Just let go, stop it. I shouted. But the voice didn't stop. And then I realized, it wasn't just me. Aisha's grip loosened. I looked at her. She was staring at Hira. No, at the shadow. Her expression, calm. Too calm. Aisha, I said, panic rising. She didn't respond. Aisha. She slowly stepped forward. No. I grabbed her, pulling her back. Don't listen to it. She blinked, like waking from a trance. I heard. I know, I said quickly. Ignore it. But even as I said that, I wasn't sure I could. Because the whispers were getting louder. Stronger. More convincing. You're tired. You've already lost. There's no way out. I clenched my teeth, gripping my head. No, that's not true. Hira took another step forward. You're making this harder, she said softly. Her voice was almost gentle now. That scared me more than anything. He just wants you to stay, she continued. That's all. Why? I demanded. Why this house? For the first time, the shadow reacted. It pulsed, expanded. The entire room darkened slightly. And then, it answered. Not through her. Directly. Inside my head. Because this is where it began. I dropped to my knees. The pressure was unbearable now. What began? I gasped. Images flooded in again, but different this time. Older. Darker. The house. Before it was a house. Just land. Empty. Something buried beneath it. Something ancient. Something that had never been meant to be found. They built over it. The voice echoed. They woke me. My heart pounded violently. You're not human, I whispered. No. The single word felt like it shook my entire body. Aisha was crying again now, clutching me tightly. What is it saying? She begged. I could barely speak. It was here. Before everything. Hira stepped closer. Now you understand, she said. The shadow around her thickened, wrapping tighter, like it was almost fully inside her now. Soon, she added softly. I looked up at her, at my daughter, and saw something shift again. A flicker. Weak. Fading. But still there. Hira, I whispered. Her eyes twitched. Just slightly. Fight it, I said desperately. Please, fight it. For a second, her lips trembled. Tears welled in her eyes. Abu, she whispered again. Aisha gasped. She's still there. Hope surged through me. Yes. Hira, listen to me, you're stronger than it. You can push it out. The shadow pulsed violently. The room shook. Stop. It growled inside my head. I ignored it. Hira, come to me. She took a step forward. Then another. Her face twisted in pain. I can't, she cried. Yes, You can. I shouted. The shadow tightened. Her body jerked unnaturally. Stop. The voice roared. The walls cracked slightly. The lights flickered violently. But I didn't stop. Come to me. I screamed. She reached out, her hand inches from mine, and then, everything exploded into darkness again. This time, there were no dreams. No visions. Just silence. When I opened my eyes, I wasn't in the house anymore. I was outside, lying on the ground, the morning sun above me. Birds chirping again, like nothing had happened. I sat up immediately. Aisha, Hira, no answer. I turned toward the house. It stood there quietly, peacefully, like it always had, too peacefully. The front door was slightly open. My heart sank. No, I whispered. I stood up slowly, my legs shaking. Every part of me was screaming not to go back in. But I had no choice. I stepped toward the door, pushed it open, and walked inside. The house was empty, silent, no footsteps, no whispers, no laughter, just stillness. Aisha, I called out. Nothing. Hira, still nothing. Then, from upstairs, a giggle. Soft, childlike, followed by another voice. My blood turned to ice. Aisha's voice, laughing. I slowly looked up toward the staircase. And in that moment, I understood the truth. It hadn't just taken one of them. It had taken both. And now, I was the only one left. Or maybe, the only one it was saving for last. I stood there for a long time, staring at the staircase. My mind was telling me to run. My heart was telling me to go up. And something else, something deeper, was pulling me toward it. Aisha, I called again, my voice barely above a whisper. A soft laugh answered. Not just one, two, layered together. One belonged to my wife. The other didn't. My legs started moving before I could stop them. One step, then another. Each stair creaked under my weight, the sound echoing unnaturally loud in the silence. The air grew colder with every step, thicker, like I was walking into something alive. Halfway up, I froze. The whispers were back, stronger now, clearer. You came back. I clenched my fists. I'm taking them with me. A pause. Then, no one leaves. The same words. Again. But this time, they felt final. I reached the top of the stairs. The hallway stretched out in front of me, dim and endless, even though I knew it wasn't that long. Doors lined both sides, all slightly open. Except one. At the very end, Hira's room. The door was wide open. And something was moving inside. I forced myself forward, step by step. The floor felt different here, softer, like it was breathing under my feet. When I reached the doorway, I stopped. Aisha was sitting on the floor, her back to me. Hira stood in front of her. Both completely still. For a moment, it looked almost normal. Like a mother and daughter sharing a quiet moment. Aisha, I said carefully. She didn't turn around. Hira, no response. Then, slowly, Aisha's head tilted to the side. Not naturally. Too far. Too stiff. And then she spoke. You shouldn't have come back. Her voice was wrong. Flat. Empty. Like something was using her voice instead of speaking through it. My chest tightened. Aisha, please, she began to laugh. Soft at first. Then louder. Then uncontrollable. Hira joined her. The same giggle. The same horrifying rhythm. They were laughing together now. Perfectly in sync. I stepped back instinctively. Stop it. I shouted. Stop. The laughter stopped instantly. Silence dropped over the room like a heavy blanket. Then, both of them turned. At the same time, their eyes met mine, and I felt my soul drop into something cold and endless. Their smiles, identical, wide, unnatural, empty. They're gone, Hira said. No, I whispered, shaking my head. No, they're still in there. I saw it. I know they are. Aisha slowly stood up. You saw what we wanted you to see, she said. My breath caught. What? The shadow began to form behind them again, larger than before, filling the corners of the room, bleeding into the walls. You think you can fight it, Hira said softly. But you're already part of it, Aisha continued. I backed into the hallway. No, that's not true, the whispers returned instantly. Louder, deeper, inside my skull. You felt it. You saw it. You belong to it. I grabbed my head, trying to block it out. Stop. Just stop. But then, something changed. Not around me. Inside me. A memory. A small one. Something I hadn't thought about before. The first night. 2:13 a.m. When I woke up. When I heard the footsteps. When I opened the door. My heart started pounding. No, I whispered. Another memory. The smell. The cold. The feeling that something was there. Watching. Waiting. And then, nothing. A gap. A missing piece. I looked up slowly at them. What happened that night? I asked, my voice shaking. Their smiles widened. You don't remember, Aisha said. My stomach twisted. Remember what? I demanded. The shadow pulsed violently. And then, it showed me. Not a vision. A memory. My memory. I saw myself. Standing in the hallway. The first night. The door open. The darkness in front of me. And then, it moved. Faster than I could react. Wrapping around me. Pulling me into it. I screamed, but no sound came out. And then, silence. Darkness. Nothing. The memory ended. I staggered back, nearly collapsing. No, I whispered. That's not real. That didn't happen, but it did. I knew it did. Because suddenly, everything made sense. The whispers. The visions. The way the house felt. The way it was pulling me. Not trapping me. Welcoming me. You were first, Hira said gently. My legs gave out. I fell to my knees. No, no, I've been here, I've been trying to save you. Aisha stepped closer. You never left, she said. The words hit harder than anything else. Never left, never left, never. My thoughts shattered. Fragments of memory flooding back. Pieces I couldn't ignore anymore. I saw myself standing in the hallway, then nothing. Then suddenly, morning, outside the house, alone. But I hadn't escaped. I had been let out. Or, something had. Something wearing me. I looked down at my hands. They were shaking. But not from fear. From realization. What am I? I whispered. The shadow surged forward, and this time, I didn't feel fear. I felt recognition. You are the door, it said inside my mind. Everything went silent. Completely silent. No whispers. No laughter. Nothing. Just that sentence. Repeating. Over and over. You are the door. I looked up slowly. Aisha and Hira were standing in front of me. Watching. Waiting. Not smiling anymore. Just observing. Like I was something new. Something important. And in that moment, I understood the truth. The house didn't trap people. It didn't just consume them. It changed them. Turned them into something else. Something that could bring others in. Something that could carry it beyond the walls. Beyond the house. Beyond everything. I felt something shift inside my chest. Something opening. Something ancient. Hungry. I tried to fight it. Tried to hold on to whatever was left of me. My family, I whispered. Aisha's expression softened slightly. For just a second. They're still here, she said quietly. But Hira shook her head. Not for long, she added. The shadow wrapped around all of us. Warm this time. Comforting. That terrified me more than anything else. You can stay with them, it whispered. No more fear. Number more pain. Number more leaving. My thoughts slowed. My resistance weakened. It felt easy. Too easy. I closed my eyes. And for a moment, I almost let go. Almost. But then, I heard it. A small voice. Faint. Distant. A boo. My eyes snapped open. Hira. Not the thing. Not the shadow. Her. Somewhere inside all that darkness. Still there. Still fighting. Help me. That was enough. Something inside me broke free. Not completely. But enough. No. I said, forcing the word out. The shadow reacted instantly. The room trembled. No. I shouted louder. The pressure returned. Crushing. Overwhelming. But I didn't stop. You don't get to keep us. The shadow roared. The walls cracked. The floor split slightly beneath us. Aisha and Hira screamed. Not in pain. But in distortion. Like something was being pulled apart. I stood up, forcing my body to move, to resist, to fight. You want a door? I shouted. Then I'll close it. I didn't know how. I didn't know what that meant. But I felt something inside me, that opening. That connection. And I pushed against it. Hard. Everything around me warped. The house twisted. The shadow shrieked. Loud. Inhuman. Furious. Stop. It roared. But I didn't. I pushed harder. Every memory. Every piece of myself. Every bit of love I had for my family. I threw it all into that one moment. And then, everything shattered. Light. Darkness. Sound. Silence. All at once. And then, nothing. When I opened my eyes again, I was outside. Lying on the ground. The house stood in front of me. Silent. Still. Dead. No whispers. No shadows. No laughter. Just a house. I sat up slowly. My body felt normal. My mind clear. Too clear. Aisha. I called out. No answer. Hira. Nothing. I stood up, my heart pounding. The front door creaked slightly in. The wind. Open. Inviting. But something was different. I could feel it. The presence. Gone. Or, sleeping. I didn't go back inside. I couldn't. I just stood there, staring at it. For a long time. Until the sun began to set. And as the shadows grew longer, I heard something. Soft. Faint. Almost unnoticeable. A giggle. Childlike. Coming from inside the house. I closed my eyes. Took a slow breath. And turned away. I don't know if I saved them. I don't know if I saved myself. All I know is, some doors should never be opened. And some houses don't let you leave. Not completely. I walked. I don't remember deciding to move, or where I thought I was going. My legs just carried me down the empty road, away from the house, away from everything that had happened. The air felt different out there. Lighter. But not enough. Because no matter how far I went, I could still feel it. Not around me. Inside me. A faint echo. Like something had left a mark it couldn't fully take back. I kept walking until the house disappeared behind the trees. That's when I stopped. For the first time since it all began, I was alone. Or at least, I thought I was. I leaned against a rusted fence, trying to steady my breathing. My hands were still shaking, my heart still racing, like my body hadn't realized it was over. If it was over, Aisha, I whispered again. No answer. Hira. Silence. The weight of it hit me all at once. They were gone. Whether they were trapped, changed, or something worse, I didn't know. But they weren't with me. And that truth felt heavier than anything that had happened inside that house. I don't know how long I stood there before I heard it. A sound so soft, I almost thought I imagined it. A footstep. Behind me. I turned instantly. No one. The road was empty. The trees stood still. Nothing moved. I let out a slow breath, shaking my head. It's over, I muttered to myself. It's just in your head. Then, another step. Closer this time. My chest tightened. No, I whispered. I turned again. Still nothing. But this time, I felt it. That same cold. That same pressure. Not as strong as before. But familiar. Too familiar. You didn't think it would end like that, did you? The voice didn't come from outside. It came from inside my head. I froze. No, I said, barely able to speak. A low, almost amused sound echoed through my thoughts. You closed one door. A pause. But you are still open. My stomach dropped. I stumbled back, shaking my head violently. No, I stopped you. I felt it. I pushed you out, did you? The words wrapped around my mind like something tightening. Or did I let you go? Something in my chest twisted. That opening. That thing it had called a door. I felt it again. Faint. But there. And slowly, it was opening. No, I gasped, clutching my chest. No, 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 images flashed in my mind, not the house. Not the past. Something else. Places. Different houses. Different people. Doors opening. Inviting. Welcoming. I dropped to my knees. What did you do to me? I choked. The answer came instantly. I made you useful. My vision blurred. My thoughts scattered. You carry me now. A cold realization settled over me. You're inside me, I whispered. A soft, satisfied presence responded. Yes. Tears filled my eyes. No, I won't let you. You already are. The words cut deeper than anything before. Because I could feel it. That pull. That quiet urge. To go back. Not to the house. Two people. Two places. Two doors. My breathing became uneven. No, I can fight this. I can fight. The voice almost laughed. You couldn't even save them. That broke something inside me. I screamed, pressing my hands against my ears as if that would stop it. Stop. But it didn't stop. You left them. I tried. I shouted. You failed. You always fail. Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Then, softly. Almost gently. You don't have to be alone. My hands slowly dropped. What? I whispered. You can bring them back. My heart stopped. What did you say? The presence shifted. Warmer. Convincing. Open the door, and they won't be gone anymore. Hope. Dangerous. Desperate hope. They're still there, it continued. Waiting. I shook my head weakly. No. That's a lie, is it? Images flooded in again. Aisha. Hira. Standing in the darkness. Reaching out. Calling for me. Abu. My breath hitched. They need you. My voice broke. I can't. You can. The pull grew stronger. Not forceful. Inviting. All I had to do was let it happen. Just a little. Just enough to open that door again. And maybe, Maybe I could get them back. Or at least, see them. One last time. I slowly stood up. My body felt heavier. But also, guided. The road stretched ahead of me. Empty. Waiting. Where do I go? I asked quietly. And for the first time, the voice didn't answer. Because it didn't need to. I already knew. I turned. Not back toward the house. But toward the world. Toward people. Toward doors. My steps were slow at first. Then steady. Then certain. Because deep down, something inside me was smiling. And as I walked, I heard it again. Not behind me. Not around me. From within. A soft, childlike giggle. And I realized something far worse than anything before. The house was never the problem. It was just the beginning. Now, there are many doors. And I am one of them.